Good morning, everybody. If I may ask everybody to please stand as we honor our nation and our flag by stating and affirm our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which is republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Please remain standing as we sing the national anthem by Miss Janessa Bermudez, a singer with the Network for Young Artists.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Give it up for Janessa. Thank you so much. Please be seated now. Good morning. What a beautiful, beautiful day for the city of San Antonio and for Bexar County. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, and neighbors, thank you for joining us here today. My name is Jorge Herrera, and I am proud to stand here with you as the campaign treasurer for Ron Nirenberg, as today he makes an important announcement, and he will speak directly to the future of Bexar County. We gather today not just as constituents, but as a community, as a familia, bound together by shared hopes and dreams. Dreams that people like Harvey Najim and the Wolf family share time and time again with our community. Thank you for being here. We all stand here united, ready to support a leader who embodies the values that we all cherish most. Values of integrity, of compassion, and the unwavering belief that our collective strength can overcome any challenge. We're here because Ron Nirenberg understands a very simple truth, that the heart of our community beats within our families. Bexar County is not divided by precincts. It's not divided by districts. Rather, it's comprised of a collection of families with their own stories that must be heard. Ron Nirenberg's vision is a vision of family. A family where parents can feel safe for their children. A family that protects its seniors. And a family that understands that people want to come home to economically prosper. So we gather here today not just for an announcement. We're here today for a reaffirmation of unity, a reaffirmation of the shared dreams that bind millions of lives and that encompass what we call Bexar County. But to me, Ron Nirenberg is not just a community leader. He's the loving husband to Erica. He is the mentor to his son, Jonah. And he is the compadre to my wife, Victoria, myself, and our children, who've been there since day one at Thanksgiving at our table when he said he wanted to step up and do better for his community. Because like my kids and you all, we all know and understand that when every decision that Ron Nirenberg makes, family is in his heart. Not just his family, but the family that we call Bexar County. Because he understands that Bexar County is great and diverse, that it speaks many languages, yet dreams in one. It's a family that stretches across miles and miles of neighborhoods, cultures, and hopes, yet beats with one collective heart. And it's a family that rises and can fall together. But it will only rise if we stand united together as one strong and unmovable and unshakable family. Ron believes that leadership is not the art of commanding. It is the art of remembering. Remembering who we are at our best. Remembering what we owe to one another. And remembering that future is shaped by the bravest of hearts. And that is what I'm seeing out in this crowd today. And the bravest thing a community can do is share a vision of community where opportunity isn't rationed, a vision where every child feels the possibility of a stronger tomorrow, and a vision bold enough to push us forward, yet generous enough to include us all. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Nirenberg carries that vision. So today, we all stand ready to chart that next chapter. Today is just not another moment in public life. It is a clarifying moment today. It is a moment when a leader stands before the community not to command something, not to seek attention or applause. But today, Ron Nirenberg extends his hands and says, walk with me, dream with me. Let us build something stronger together. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great gratitude and even greater hope that we all support a leader who does not simply govern, but who inspires us all with his heart. Let us stand together with Ron Nirenberg, a champion of every parent, of every child, and of every member, what we call Bexar County. Because together we will rise, we will build, and we will prosper together to build a community that's built on love, hope, and opportunity abound for all. That is Ron Nirenberg's vision for our community. I want to thank you on behalf of my family for joining us all here today. And ladies and gentlemen, it's now my distinct honor to welcome someone who has long fought for the seniors of our community and the strength of our community as well. Ms. Mariana Murillo, the president of the Texas Alliance of Retired Americans and board member of the San Antonio Housing Trust. Go Ron!
Oh, wow. Well, hello, everyone. What a wonderful day to be out here with all of y'all. Great music, food, and friends. It doesn't get any better, right? Okay. Well, as mentioned just beforehand, my name is Mariana Murillo. I serve the greater San Antonio and Bexar County community in various civic and community organizing roles. I sure do see a lot of familiar faces here today in the crowd. And just like all of you, I am here today to support a very familiar face to all of us. That's why we're all here. So, way back in 2018, I was one of many Democratic Party precinct chairs, many of whom I see here today, who volunteered for Ron's campaign. He had a commitment to putting others ahead of himself. He was determined and he was purpose-driven. Ron has the passion, dedication, and drive to make a difference. It was easy to see why his supporters contributed in so many ways, be it through volunteer time, talent, or treasures. Each one of us, in one way or another, was committed to his campaign, and we were in it to win it for him. Ron brought an electrifying energy and relentless work ethic. He had specific goals and objectives, and he had, as mentioned earlier, a vision and values that resonated with the voters. Ron showed the citizens of San Antonio that he was willing to fight for what he believed in. He fought fair and square, even when others took cheap shots. And I guess that's why he works out every day, because he's not afraid to throw a knockout punch. That's figuratively, folks, not literally. Okay, Ron? All right? Okay. In his role as mayor, I witnessed the methodical manner in which he was setting forth his agenda, his vision and his values, especially when it came to addressing the need for truly affordable housing for working families and for senior citizens. During my career at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, I was quite familiar with the ongoing unmet needs of San Antonio and Bexar County's housing community. So when public meetings took place for the SHIP, that stands for the Strategic Housing Implementation Plan, I made sure to attend all those meetings. The goals in the plan reflected Ron's vision, an increase in the city's investment in housing, and it also included an increase in affordable housing production, preservation, and rehabilitation. Those are all music to my ears, folks, and for anybody who's in the housing market. That is just music to your ears. And after attending these meetings, I wanted to be part of Mayor Ron's effort, so I applied to be a board member of the San Antonio Housing Trust. I cannot tell you just how happy I was when I learned I had been voted in by the City Council to serve on the board. In fact, another Housing Trust Board member, Councilman Jalen McKee Rodriguez, is here too. Where is he? Hey there. Okay. The San Antonio Housing Trust has accomplished so much over the last 3 years to provide affordable housing throughout San Antonio for working families, which I also represent in another capacity, and for our seniors, which I also represent through another organization here in Bexar County. The Housing Trust continues to prioritize goals laid out in the SHIP, and it is important to note that this started with Ron's vision and determination to address the lack of truly affordable housing in San Antonio. And I would be remiss if I didn't let everybody know that the San Antonio Housing Trust is one of several organizations that is producing or rehabilitating housing stock. The Housing Investment Trust, or otherwise known as HITS, needed the city's commitment to secure financing for the renovation of the Granada homes in downtown San Antonio. It was Mayor Ron who signed off on that letter of commitment, and now we have senior housing that has the bells and whistles and updated amenities for our seniors who are on fixed incomes. Darn right, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and supporters, as a citizen of Bexar County, it is essential to elect leaders who can fight and follow through on their goals and visions for our community. Ron Nirenberg is one such leader. I know his commitment to affordable housing, to our seniors, and to our working families. He made an impact in San Antonio, and he will make an impact and work towards the betterment of all the residents of Bexar County. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here today, and I'd like to go ahead and turn the mic over to Councilman Jalen McKee Rodriguez. Thank you.
I love that. Good morning, everyone. Is this a whisper party? Good morning. My name is, thank you. My name is Jalen Miki Rodriguez, and I have the privilege and honor of serving as councilman for District 2, representing the east and northeast side of San Antonio. Over the years, I've had the privilege of working alongside Ron, and what has always stood out to me is that his leadership has been rooted not in ego, not in politics, but in a deep belief that San Antonio should work for everyone, especially those who have historically been left out of the conversation. Ron led our city through some of the most challenging moments in modern history, and during the pandemic, he centered public health, transparency, and science. His calm, steady communication helped our city navigate fear and uncertainty, and he provided a calm, steady voice for many of our most vulnerable residents, families who are facing eviction, workers who lost their income, seniors who are isolated from resources, and neighborhoods that lacked access to health care. But his leadership goes beyond that. Under Ron's tenure, San Antonio put equity at the core of decision-making. The adoption of the equity budget wasn't just a policy shift, it was a moral statement. It signaled that, it signaled that communities on the east side, the west side, the south side, and in pockets across our city that had not seen proportional investment would finally be prioritized. And that framework still shapes how we govern today and will for the foreseeable future. One area where I've seen the impact of Ron's leadership firsthand is in rethinking public safety to better serve our community. Together, we've worked to shift certain 911 calls away from traditional police responses toward the creation of an alternative response model focused on mental health and crisis intervention. This approach isn't just about efficiency, it's about compassion and equity, ensuring that people in crisis get the right help at the right time. Exactly. It's a tangible example of how progressive leadership paired with collaboration can deliver innovative solutions that keep our community safer while treating residents with the dignity that they deserve. Ron also pushed forward on the issues that define what it means to be a modern, inclusive city. He championed a comprehensive climate action and adaptation plan to secure a healthier, more sustainable future for all of our children and our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. He expanded efforts to welcome and support immigrant families, ensuring that San Antonio remains a city of hope and dignity. He stood firmly and publicly with LGBTQ+ residents who face attack after attack, refusing to allow discrimination to be tolerated in our policies and in our culture. And he helped deliver transformational housing investments, including the largest affordable housing bond in our city's history. But what I appreciate most is that Ron has always understood that good policy requires collaboration, and that real collaboration requires listening. When we work together on issues tied to equity, youth opportunity, reproductive rights, public safety alternatives, or simply making city services more accessible, Ron brought a steady hand and a willingness to partner and collaborate. And let me speak personally for a moment. Leadership can be hard. Choosing the path of equity can be harder. Choosing it consistently, publicly, and unapologetically, that takes courage. And Ron has shown that courage time and time again. San Antonio is better today because of his service. Our systems are a little bit fairer. Our conversations are a little bit deeper. Our investments are much more intentional. And our vision of who belongs in the city, who deserves dignity, opportunity, and a seat at the table is broader than it was when he first took office. I'm grateful for the chance to have served alongside him, to learn from him, and to continue building on the foundation that he helped lay for a more just, inclusive, and forward-thinking city. That is the leadership that we need at all levels of government, whether it's the city, the state, the county maybe. We need someone who leads with urgency, clarity, and a deep understanding of the challenges facing our residents. We need leaders who recognize that families struggling with housing, health care, mental health crises, food insecurity, and violence, they don't have the luxury of a slow government. They need someone who proactively identifies these gaps, demands accountability from every department, and moves resources where they are most needed, not years from now, but today, right now in this moment. So I join all of you in excitement to hear from Ron himself what's next, but whatever mysterious and completely unknown path forward that is, I will be right there alongside him, and I hope you all will join me. Thank you.
I'm at that age where I don't know if I need glasses on or glasses off, so I'm going glasses off so I can see what I wrote, but I can't see you, so feel free to make weird gestures at me. My name is Amy Hardberger. I'm also known as the Lesser Hardberger. My father, Phil Hardberger, wishes he could join us today, but at 91, he's on the road and traveling in West Texas. So you get me instead. So as y'all know, families don't always agree on everything. But one thing that the Hardberger family agrees on is the leadership and the dedication of Ron Nirenberg. And I just want to thank him for throwing this pizza party for no other reason than to have a pizza party. I'm sure that's why we're here. You know, when I think about, Ron's been sort of a member of our family for many, many years. We watched him in city council for many years as part of the Hardberger Park development. My father worked closely with him. We've watched him for 8 years as mayor. I was appointed by Ron to the San Antonio Water Systems Board and served with him for 8 years. And I can say, he says he learned a lot from my dad. I can say I've learned a lot from him. One of the qualities of Ron that amazes me the most, because I am never described this way, is his ability to keep calm and carry on, which I think is just an incredible quality of a leader and exceptionally rare, especially in today's climate, to be able to go through something like COVID and with Judge Wolf meet us every evening and give us information, even if it wasn't information that we wanted to hear or information necessarily that made him look good. We just got the truth, which is exceptionally unusual in today's society. So, thank you. I agree. Ron has an exceptional dedication to this community. And when I say community, I mean all of the cultures, all of the backgrounds, and all of the opinions. Because that is what makes San Antonio incredible. I was born here, I will die here, I love this town, and Ron does too. As mayor, as has been mentioned by many of the previous speakers, Ron took on a lot of different difficult projects, including inadequate work training for our citizens, affordable housing, aging infrastructure, and unmanaged city expansion. He looked at these issues in ways that both welcome newcomers and protect existing citizens, to think about us as a holistic community. And that is why, if an announcement comes, if he decided to do something today, he's very well positioned for that. So we are very appreciative. My mom, my dad, and I are very appreciated for all the service. I personally am very grateful for the opportunities that Ron has provided for me to serve this community, and I look forward to what he has to say in just a little bit. Thank you. Nelson Wolf, everyone.
Well, here we are. Did you notice this morning the clouds covered all the sky? And as Ron made his way here, the clouds broke open, the sun followed him, and as he goes into this office, he'll open up the doors, bring in fresh air, and bring light to the room. He is the man for the job. It's impossible to judge a man's character and dedication unless he's facing a major crisis. And we faced that crisis for over 2 years with the COVID epidemic. And Ron set one reason for us to work hard, and that was to save lives, not the political demagogue like many others did. Save lives. We were together 319 nights talking to the public, answering their questions, and presenting something like 500 daily situation reports on how many people had passed away, how many had COVID, how many were in the hospital, how many were on ventilators. We'd studied that. We had 400 health conferences. And through that trauma, nowhere else in the United States did we have the leadership that we had here, and Ron was that principal leader. So thank you, Ron. I think we know where he is going. He hasn't formally said it. But I can tell you this. If he's going where we think he's going, he'll bring something along that nobody else can bring. And if it is the county office, he has served as mayor, and that is one of the greatest attributes ever to become county judge, so you understand both units of government and you do the best for the community with those two units. Now, he's established a great record, $1.2 billion in bonds, of which $100 million for trails along the creekways, $150 million for the first public housing bond issue, doubling the size of our terminal at the airport so desperately needed. The hard work that he has done with respect to infrastructure, with respect to creating the program for our workforce, to providing money for the VIA that will now bring us to rapid transit. All those issues have come together at the same time that he's cut the tax rate 3 times and provided exemptions for seniors and for those that have disabilities. He brings that record, and with that record, the place that he is going to be much better. So let's get Ron elected. Work hard. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Judge Wolf. Judge, I might need someone to come speak for me one of these days in my near future. I hope you're available. Good morning, everybody. Now, if we were in Leon Valley, I would accept that response, but we are in San Antonio, Bexar County, Texas. Come on, let me know you're here. Good morning, everybody. There we go. There we go. My name is Trey Martinez-Fisher. I'm a state representative. There's 10 of us in San Antonio. I've been in Austin a long time, since the age of 29. I'm in my 11th term. I am now the old man of the delegation. They call me the dean of the delegation. I've been there the longest. And being there a long time, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a Democratic majority in the Texas House. That's what I was elected to. I've seen a Republican majority where it's very extreme and hardcore. And then I've seen a Republican majority run by a San Antonian who lived in Alamo Heights. Or I guess I wouldn't make him a San Antonian, but somebody from Bexar County who lived in Alamo Heights, who was fair, who was square, and governed based on consensus, being pragmatic, and not being reactionary. So I've had the occasion to work with then Councilman Nirenberg and then ultimately Mayor Nirenberg. And so I've seen a few things. When my phone rang about what am I doing on a Saturday morning about 11 a.m., I said absolutely nothing, and I want to keep it that way. He said, I need you to come here and tell people about our working relationship and the work that we've done. And I said, well, Ron, if I tell them the truth, they're going to think I'm lying. So I'm telling you right now, you can define somebody by their willingness to go the extra mile. And where are they going to be? Not during the good times. I get good news all day long. I want to be in the trench when times are bad and people tell me we may not be much, but we've got each other and we're going to give it our all. End of day, it's on the field. I'm a retired Holmes Husky linebacker. I've been knocked down plenty of times, but I've also gotten back up, dusted myself off, got back in the huddle and made the next play. And so I admire the work that Ron does, and I'll just give you a flavor of it. When he tells me, will you take a meeting, Trey? I know you do this work. You count money on finance. You count money on tax. You spend money on finance. That's what you do up in Austin. Can I bring a mayor? Can we come talk to you about some of the local issues? Because we're losing our ability to make decisions for you all. I said, sure. Bring some folks with you. Well, he didn't tell me he was going to bring all the mayors of every major city, from Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, Austin, folks he didn't agree with, folks that he would disagree on other policy issues. But he wanted to come in and make decisions Let's duke it out. Let's be pragmatic. Let's make a good decision. And maybe it may be the way Ron wants it, or maybe the way another mayor wants it. But at the end of the day, the big city mayors were going to come together. Ron would lead those discussions. You don't see those on TV. You don't see those on Instagram. That's the work being done in the conference room. That is the workhorse component of who this guy is. And I'll have to say I was impressed by it because I think the work that I do in Austin, we have a saying that we want to know who the contenders are and who the pretenders are, right? Ron is not a pretender, right? Ron will contend. He'll get up. He will compete. He will make his pitch. And where we share a similar value is that he knows that he is not the ultimate decider. You all are the ultimate deciders. And I trust, like he trusts, at the end of the day, you will make a choice. You make choices every day, like being here to what you're going to get for lunch when you leave here. Ron knows that if you take the time to study him, his work, his family, his roots, his instincts, you're going to make the right decision, whatever he's doing, right? And we're going to hear from that in a minute. And so I'm I admire that because you don't see that in our business quite a bit. Our business tends to be a little transactional, a little bit no permanent friends, no permanent enemies. It's a series of relationships that just kind of shift back and forth. This guy's grounded. This guy has roots. This guy has principles. And those principles are built 210 style. He is from the 210. He thinks like he's from the 210. He cares about the 210. And so I very much appreciate the work that he's done. And here's the bonus part. This is the part where you're going to say, no, TMF's making it up. I am not making it up. People come to Austin, everybody puts on their best behavior. They wear their best suit. They wear their clean tie. They have their nice starched shirt. Women dressed to the nines, professional wear. And you get up there and you kind of want to tiptoe, right? Because you don't want to make anybody mad. You want to maybe say things that you think people want to hear. Nirenberg will tell you what you need to know. And what impresses me the most, being on a tax committee that spends a lot of time telling cities you can't spend any money, we need somebody like Ron, because I can tell you a lot of leaders, a lot of local leaders, a lot of other mayors, they're not going to sit at a table, look a Republican chairman in the eye and say, you're wrong, right? I respect you. Great. You're an elected official just like me. You're wrong. Now, let me tell you why. And then he just takes out the 10-page plan, right? Ron's not afraid to tell people whether they disagree with him or not, that, hey, there is another way to do things. And really, that's refreshing for me because a lot of people will come to me and tell me, look, Trey, you need to do X, Y, Z. You need to go left and then go right. But listen, I can't do that. I can't do that because I don't want to make somebody mad. I'm going to work behind the scenes. I can't have my fingerprints on that. Ron is not like that. Ron will never ask me to do something that he's not willing to do himself. And that's character. And that's guts. And in my business, that's rare these days. And so when you find somebody that has guts and is well-grounded, who loves this community and recognizes that rain, or win, lose, or draw, that he's going to wake up the next morning, put his best foot forward, and do something good. And so I'm excited for anybody who wants to get in the arena. People say that I'm a fighter. I respect and appreciate those that also like to get in the arena and duke it out. And you all are the ultimate judge, and that's what makes this democracy wonderful. That's what makes San Antonio wonderful, and that's what people do not understand when I walk in the halls of the Texas Capitol, that I come from San Antonio. We do things differently. We have all types of folks at the table. We've been making decisions for a very, very long time, a very unique and diverse way, and so I appreciate his leadership. And so listen, we did not bring this day together, and we did not ask you to come here to sit down. This is not a sit-down type of event. There are other campaigns that have sit-down events. This is not a sit-down event. I'm going to introduce somebody, and I want everybody to get up. I want everybody to get up unless you can't. I want everyone to get up for this next speaker because I'm a huge fan. I'm fangirling her all the time on her socials. She speaks the truth. She lets you know where you stand with her, and that is refreshing, that she's going to tell you just what you need to know, and it is unscripted and unfiltered, and it's like, pura Latina, and that's what I love about her. We're going to bring up the First Lady of San Antonio, my good friend, Erica Prosper. Put your hands together.
I love that. I love that. And in that spirit, Trey, I'm going to ask my husband to come up and stand in front of me right here, please. Seriously. Right there is good. He said unscripted. Well, I'm the last person before you get to hear from the potential candidate. And it's my job to introduce him. But I've done this many a time, and I think in this particular jump, I'm going to do it a little different. So, dear Ron, 25 years ago when I met you, I chose to go into this life with you because I truly thought it was going to be the most calming, the most predictable and stable choice. Because that's what I was looking for. Like so many people in this beautiful county, my life had been in turmoil many times over. And I wanted a partner in life that I could count on. And I met this wonderfully kind and funny and just exuded optimism of a young man who had the calm to carry on, who always saw how to make it, as Jalen said, something just a little bit better, my day a little bit better. And I said, surely this is the calmest, most stable life that I will ever have. But like everything that seems unremarkable, you turn it into something remarkable. For me. Dear Ron, when you told me 12 years ago that you were going to throw your hat into a public service ring, I was like, no, let's not do this. Because I was scared. Like so many people in our community, you hold on to the identity that you have because it's what you fight for, it's what you get, without realizing that there are people who can get you more, who can represent you and tell you you deserve more. But like all other things, as Trey mentioned, you're undeniably stubborn about what you decide is best for our family. And you knew this was best for our family. And you went into it with the humility and the optimism that has become a hallmark for you. Dear Ron, I thought I was going to get more than 6 months of vacation. But I also understand, just like we've raised our son and like many people have raised their children, that when they find something that makes them happy and they're good at and can help others, you don't deny that to your children, and you shouldn't deny that to your partners. So, as I saw you struggle all summer, trying to figure out how else you could still make an imprint on our society, on our state, on our city, on our county, and even the neighborhoods, I knew that you were juggling my need for stability that I thought I might get a second chance at, without realizing that you had already completely opened the world to me. You've let me understand that true stability is agility. You've let me understand that true stability is not seen within, but for others. And you have let me understand that just like we want Jonah to always give his gifts to the world, there is nothing more that I want for you. So, dear Ron, I am going to invite you to come up here and finally get rid of the suspense of what it is that you want to do. I know I am.
Wow. Give it up for Erica Prosper. Well, let me first say, I think a few of us a few of you know our story, Erica and me, and can I get somebody to tighten this mic a little bit? A few of you know our story, and so now you understand why I chased her so long for her to finally accept a date with me. I won't keep you standing too long, but I just want to say thank you to everyone who's out here today. It is wonderful to see so many people that I've walked the streets with, that I've walked this life in Bexar County and San Antonio with, and I truly, truly appreciate you all being here today. Let's give another round of applause to Fining Friday and to all the speakers who are up here. There are so many people in this audience that deserve to be recognized. Let me just, again, thank the folks that were up here speaking, as well as my family who is here today, coming from all parts. Thank you, Dad. Thank you to my brother, Mark, and so many other folks that are behind us that were part of my journey in life. Well, 5 months ago, I walked out of the mayor's office for the last time. Since then, I've heard a lot of rumors about my political future. While some were flattering, as you've heard, my North Star has always been the people of this community and the work that needs to be done right here. If you listen to the farewell address I gave in City Hall, there is a Cesar Chavez quote that I often go back to, and it's one that reminds me of that North Star. He said, "We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity of our community. Even with all that we've accomplished over the last 8 years, there are still important issues facing this region. We made community college, the best community college in the country, free for every local high school graduate in Bexar County. Yet, we still have young people who can't find good-paying jobs. Even with the climate plan you just heard about that moves CPS Energy, by the way, away from coal 37 years ahead of schedule, we're still not ready for the next extreme weather event. And while, as you've heard, we passed this community, and this region's first ever affordable housing bond, too many families are still living in poverty. These are local problems, problems that are being ignored by the state and don't get solved on the Senate floor. I left the mayor's office clear-eyed about the challenges we're facing and certain about what it takes to solve them. And that's why today I do have an announcement. My name is Ron Nirenberg, and I am running for Bexar County Judge. The power of local government isn't what we can do alone. It's how we can collaborate to improve people's lives. The cities and the county work best when they work together. But right now, they're too often rowing in opposite directions. And redundant efforts, as we've seen all over this country, have consequences. Duplicate affordable housing programs, chasing the same dollars. Job training initiatives, tripping over each other. And a justice system that is bottlenecked by bureaucracy. We need leadership that aligns us and gets us rowing in the same direction. That doesn't happen on its own. It takes someone who is willing to use the full authority of this office. We are the results of our actions, not our ambitions. I'm running to do things. I'm running to change things. I'm running to lead when we need it the most. And let's just be clear. Look at all we can do when we are working together. We stared down a global pandemic while delivering the largest city-funded workforce development program in the nation. And let me take a pause on that for a minute. You heard from Judge Wolf. Let's not forget what it was like in those dark days. San Antonio thrived because of that old saying, we're all in this together. And so I want to thank all of you for recognizing that and for believing in your neighbors. And I also want to give a big round of applause to someone who is here on the front row, who has spent his life and his fortune giving back to community organizations so they can do the good work of saving people's lives every single day, including children and families that are struggling in poverty. Harvey Najum, thank you so much for all that you do for our community. There's a reason why his name is all over many buildings in this city. Look, we can cut competing programs. We stared down a global pandemic together. We expanded pre-K for SA. We developed our first ever mass transit lines. We are doubling the size of our airport. This was work we achieved together. And by the way, with the approval of voters and without raising taxes. Because we can overcome any challenge when your government is working harder and smarter for you, and your government works as hard as you do. We can cut competing programs and find new ways to work with cities. We can maximize the university health system, which is one of the largest publicly owned hospital systems in Texas, to close our healthcare gap and address the mental health crisis. We can break down barriers and build more support opportunities for local school districts, connecting our students with meaningful job opportunities. And we can solve the problems in our elections department, the front line of our democracy. Because when New York City can count millions of votes before we can count thousands, we know we can do better. Look, we can fully support our justice system so that violent offenders are behind bars and not walking the streets. This race is about the future of Bexar County and determining what kind of shared future we want to build together. If we want to make our world a better place, if we want to get our state back on track, as I know many of you want to, we have to start with the issues right here in front of us, right here at home. That means doing what we do best, working as a team. You've heard it said before, we circle the wagons better than anywhere else in the country. You know it's true. And we never shy away from hard work. We just need the right leader to unlock all of our full potential. In over 40 states, they call that job the county executive. In Tennessee, they call it the county mayor. Here in Texas, we're a little different. They call it the county judge. But as always, you can just call me Ron. So I am excited to earn your vote in the coming months, and with your help, we will fulfill the potential of a community on the rise. And so let's rise up together, Bexar County. It's time to get to work. Thank you all very much.